Hey you guys, what's up? In today's video, I'm going to be trying out a bunch of new makeup products. I have some new makeup here from ColourPop, Clinique, Benefit, so I'm going to be trying out a bunch of new products. So really quickly, before we get started, I would really appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do today is prime my face, and I have two new primers here. They are both from Milani. I haven't really seen anyone talking about either of these primers, but I kind of want to use both of them today just because I have both of them here and I want to see how they both work. First up, we have the Milani Supercharged Dewy Primer, and I think what I'm going to do is apply this on most of my face, and then I'll probably use the mattifying primer like just on my nose area and maybe a little bit on my forehead where my makeup would like most likely come off. But let's go ahead and try out the Dewy Primer first. It just is a lotiony type primer, and I'm going to apply this to my cheek area. So I'm going to actually just put this all over my face. So this does feel very hydrating. It really feels like a moisturizer, which I personally love. So I'm gonna kind of let this set for just a minute before I apply the other primer. Okay, really, I just read this right here and it says new look, same great formula. So it's showing a picture of the Milani Prime Shield. So is this like the same old primer just in new packaging? Why did I think this was a new primer? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to be using the No Pore Zone Mattifying Primer. Apparently, this is not even a new primer. I don't know why I thought this was a new primer. But this one is more of like a clear kind of gel consistency. And I think I'm just going to put a little bit of this on my nose area and then a little bit on the center of my forehead. This one does feel more of like a silicone type primer. So it does kind of have a smoothing effect to the skin. I might put a little bit on like my smile line area. So before I apply foundation, I do have this other new product here from Milani. This is the Milani Supercharged Brightening Under Eye Tint, and this one is in the shade 110. So there are 3 different colors in this. I think this is the lightest one, which will probably be good for my skin tone. And I'm gonna dab a little bit of this under the eyes just to cover up these dark circles, and I'm gonna blend out with a sponge. Okay, I feel like that did help a little bit with the darkness underneath my eyes. I wouldn't say it is as brightening as like the Maybelline, the Instant Age Rewind corrector, because I use that one like every day, and I feel like that one's a little bit more like brightening than this one. But this one feels a little bit more hydrating than that one. I think I'm gonna also apply some of this like right where I kind of have darkness around my mouth. I don't know if this is even the right kind of color corrector for this area of the face, but let's just see if it helps a little bit, because I do get kind of dark right around my mouth area. This is a very, very thin formula, which is great because I feel like it's going to color correct nicely, but not make your makeup like cakey or anything. So I don't have a new foundation that I haven't already tried, so I'm just going to be using my Clinique Even Better foundation. I have an entire review video on this foundation. I'll have it up here in the cards if you guys want to go and watch that. But I do really enjoy this foundation, so I'm going to be using this one today, and I kind of want to do like more of like light natural type makeup today. So I'm just going to take a little bit, and hopefully I can get this to go a long way because I don't want to wear too much makeup today. I really like this foundation a lot. I think I talked about it in my recent like ranking video, and this is just a really nice, like very thin but full coverage foundation, and it has a lot of good skincare ingredients in here. So before I apply my concealer, I'm gonna go in with a liquid or cream blush, whatever you want to call this. And I just did a review video on these. These are the ColourPop Cheek Dew Serum Blushes. In my review video, I applied these with a makeup sponge, and they don't have a lot of coverage that way, and a lot of you guys said you wanted to see me try them out with my fingers or a brush. So I'm going to do that today. I'm going to do one side with my fingers and then one side with a brush so you guys can see how they apply like that. So today I'm going to use the shade called Hotline, and I'm just going to take a little bit on my finger and start dabbing this on my cheeks. So this definitely has a lot more pigmentation when applied with the fingers, but this takes so long to blend out. Like, this is why I did it with a sponge. So I think that's as far as I'm going to be able to go with my finger because I feel like I'm looking crazy. I might have applied too much. So I'm just going to take my sponge and blend that out. I think that these are probably better applied with a brush maybe than the fingers or a sponge. You know, I really like that these don't like disrupt your foundation underneath. Some cream blushes like really mess up your foundation and these don't do that. So now I'm gonna use a brush on this side and I'm just gonna start by tapping this and then blending out. This is like a flat top brush. Yeah, okay, I think that a brush is the way to go with these. This has good pigmentation, but it also blends like way faster than your fingers. Like you definitely get more pigmentation with the brush than you do with a sponge. That's because like a sponge absorbs a lot of the product and the sponge is damp, so it kind of shears it out a little bit more. So a flat top brush is definitely the way to go with these. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't use a brush when I did my review video because they look so much better when applied with a brush. So now it is time for concealer. So I have two concealers here. The first one I did do a dedicated review video and it is the Clinique Even Better Concealer. This is the concealer that has like the little sponge on one side, and whenever I did the review, I did like the concealer, but the shade that I bought was too dark, so I did go ahead and buy this in the lightest shade, which is WN01, and this shade is still not like super light, so if you're any like lighter than me, you will not be able to use this concealer. The shades are too dark. And then I also picked up the Wet n Wild Incognito concealer, so I think I'm going to use the Clinique one, kind of just dot it a little bit, and then I'll use the Wet n Wild to kind of brighten everything up. But this one is a full coverage all day concealer, so I'm curious about this Wet n Wild one. All right, so I'm first going to take the Clinique one, and I'm just going to do like maybe 3 dots like that because this one is pretty full coverage too. And then I'm going to take some of the Wet n Wild one and I'm just going to apply some in this inner area and maybe like 1 dot there. I went ahead and added a little bit more of the Wet n Wild one just to kind of brighten up this area of my face. I actually really like the formula of the Wet n Wild one. It definitely is full coverage and I feel like it blends very nicely, especially like in this inner part of my eye. Like I feel like I always have really bad like darkness here and I feel like it's covering it pretty well. Now I'm also going to take the Clinique concealer and I'm going to use this to spot conceal. So I'm just going to put this on any blemishes and kind of let that sit there for a minute. When you let it sit, it becomes a little bit more dry, so the coverage is a little bit better when you blend it. But yeah, I actually really like how those look under the eyes. So I did recently pick up this IT Cosmetics setting powder. I saw that Hot and Flashy uses this and her under eye looks amazing, so I decided to pick it up. This is the Bye Bye Pores translucent powder. This is a very, very like fine, thin powder. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use this to set underneath the eyes. Now I'm going to blend out where I put the concealer on the face. Let's see how it covers these blemishes. Definitely covers those pretty nicely. I probably should have grabbed my shade that's a little bit darker for these because now I kind of brighten them up. All right, so then I'm also going to take a little bit of that powder and kind of just set the rest of my face lightly. So after I do like my foundation, concealer, and powder, I always like to use a setting spray to kind of melt everything together. So I recently was sent this one by Benefit. This is the Benefit, the Professional Super Setter. It says it's a multitasking microfine mist that leaves skin feeling smooth, refreshed, and hydrated. It locks in makeup for up to 16 hours, instantly blurs pores. Wow, that's a very like finely misting spray. I love that. So my newest like bronzer that I have is the BH Cosmetics BFF bronzer and blush and highlight palette. I have already done a whole review video on this collection. I'll have it like in the card if you guys want to go and watch that, but I'm gonna take a little bit, and these are very pigmented, and I'm just gonna start like kind of carving out my cheekbone. I'm gonna also bring some down the nose a little bit and apply some to the forehead. These are so pigmented. You have to be very, very careful with these. So I went ahead and added some powder because I feel like things were getting a little bit messy. I'm also gonna take the highlighter from the BFF palette, and I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this on my cheekbones. This highlighter is like super bright. All right, so my face makeup is pretty much done. I love how you can still see the blush through all of the powders that I put down, and I didn't apply like a powder or blush on top. So it still looks really good for being like a cream blush under all of that. So now we're gonna move on to the eyes. So the newest eyeshadow palette that I have to try out, which I have already done a review on my channel, is the ColourPop Thumper palette. So I'm gonna be using this today to create a kind of like simple look. I have been really enjoying the Thumper palette. It's my favorite one from the Bambi collection, so I wanted to use this one for you guys today. So I'm first going to pick up the shade called Friend Owl, and I'm just going to kind of buff this all in my crease with a fluffy brush. I'm also going to run some of that underneath the lower lash line. Now I'm going to pick up some of the shade called Long Ears, and I'm just going to start blending this shade into the crease like a little bit lower than the last shade. Now I'm going to pick up the last shade over here, and I'm just going to use this to deepen up the outer corner. I'm also going to apply those last two shades I put in the crease on the lower lash line. So I went ahead and cut my crease off camera. For the lid, I'm first going to pick up the shade called Miss Bunny, and I'm just going to put this right here in the inner corner area. I'm not going to go too far up on the lid with this shade. Now I'm going to take this beautiful green shade, and I'm going to put this on the rest of the lid. So now that my eyeshadow is done, it is time for mascara. And today I'm going to be trying out the new Benefit They're Real Magnet Mascara. Here is what the bottle looks like. How cute is that with the magnet on top? And then here is what the wand looks like. So this says that it's mascara with a magnetic force that draws lashes out to extreme lengths. It says the extender brush with magnetically charged core pulls the magnetic mineral-enriched formula up and out beyond the tips of the lashes. Okay, I'm so excited to try this. It says it's flexible, lightweight, and builds easily. So I'm going to go ahead and curl the lashes. Benefit has some of my favorite mascaras, so I am so excited about this one. So I'm going to start with the lower lashes. I might come in closer so you guys can really see this. So I actually love how that made my bottom lashes look. I feel like they look very long and separated. I did get the mascara a little bit underneath my eyes, but that's okay. I can kind of get it off in a minute. But now we're going to try this on the top lashes. All right, here is one eye done, like the top lashes, and you guys, I think that I might like this mascara better than the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara, which is like one of my all-time favorite mascaras, and that is saying a lot, but this is only my first time using it, so I could change my mind. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye now. Okay, so I'm not liking it so much on this eye because I do have like this patch where I'm kind of like not missing eyelashes, but they tend to go like wonky, and I couldn't get the mascara wand to separate my lashes right there. So now I'm looking a little bit clumpy. All right, so I grabbed a little spoolie and kind of went through my lashes, and they look less clumpy, but I'm still missing my lashes right here, which with my normal mascara, I can kind of get them to go that way, but not with that wand. So now we're pretty much done besides the lips. So I did recently pick up the Maybelline Lifter Gloss, which I have heard so many good things about. So I picked up the shade called Stone, and I do want to see how this looks on its own before I apply like maybe a lipstick underneath. Oh my god, that's pigmented. Okay, maybe I don't need a lipstick. So here is what the lip gloss looks like. I did not expect it to be that pigmented. I'm really curious how this formula is going to be, like if it's going to stick together like the ColourPop glosses do. But really quickly, to kind of finish up the look, I want to use the ColourPop Bambi eyeliner in the shade, what is this one called? Meadow, which is like the kind of yellow eyeliner. I've been really enjoying this, and I'm going to put this in my waterline. All right, you guys, so here is the completed look. I am very happy with how everything turned out. Like, I don't think there was a product today that I didn't like. So we're gonna kind of go through everything now, and I'm gonna give you guys like my final thoughts. So the two primers, I actually really enjoyed both of these a lot. Sometimes I have a struggle with primers. I don't normally use them on an everyday basis because a lot of primers I feel like disrupt my foundation, but these did not at all. Like, I think I'm really gonna like the dewy primer because I have more normal to dry skin. I love the way it made my skin feel. It felt very hydrating. It didn't make my foundation go on weird or anything. I feel like my foundation looks really nice. And then as for the no pore zone primer, I actually really liked how this blurred my skin right here on my forehead, my nose, and my chin area. A lot of the times with silicone type primers, I feel like my foundation feels like it's gonna move around, and I don't feel like it's gonna move at all with this primer. Next up, we had the Milani like under eye brightener, which is a color corrector. I'm gonna keep trying this out. I normally use the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind corrector on an everyday basis, and I really like that one. This one is a little bit less brightening than that one, but I feel like this one is more hydrating, so I'm gonna keep using this. Based on my first impression, I really like the formula of this. It didn't cause any like weird creasing with my concealer or anything. It felt very light on the skin, but definitely hydrating. I really like these ColourPop serum blushes. They definitely apply better with your fingers or a brush. I think that the best method to apply these is with a brush. Your fingers just takes way too long, and I feel like they don't blend as nicely. So maybe like a flat type or more like compact bristle brush would be the best way to apply those. So yeah, I really like those a lot. If you guys want to see my full review video, make sure to go check it out. I think it's my last video. So next up we have the concealers. I really like the Clinique one. I've been using this one a lot. I wish there was a lighter shade in this concealer because I feel like it kind of oxidizes and is a little bit dark, but the formula of this is really good, but it is very expensive. And then I really liked the Wet n Wild Incognito concealer based on my first impression. I used it right here in my inner corner, and I feel like it really brightened up everything. It didn't sink into my fine lines. I struggle with my concealer like coming off when I blend in this inner corner area, and with this concealer I didn't have that issue at all, and this one is very cheap, so I really like that one so far. And then I have been really enjoying the IT Cosmetics powder recently. It really does blur the skin. This is good for like more mature under eye areas with wrinkles. I do have a lot of under eye wrinkles, and I feel like this is the best like thin setting powder that doesn't like cake up underneath your eyes, and it just looks so nice and smooth. You guys already know I've been loving the BH Cosmetics BFF face palette. This one is a really good one. Make sure you guys check out my entire review video on the BFF collection. What else did we try out? I feel like there was a lot that I'm like, I don't know where everything is anymore. So I do really love the Thumper palette. This is definitely the best palette from this collection in my opinion. I think this one is the prettiest Bambi collection palette. I love the color story of this palette. The green is so beautiful. And then this mascara, you guys, I really like it so far. Even though I had the issues on this eye, I think this is a great mascara. It definitely makes your lashes look thick and long, and I don't have very long lashes, and I really like the way that this made them look. As for the lip gloss, I definitely see what the hype is about these glosses. I really love the formula. It is not sticky at all. It's not sticking whenever I'm talking, which really bothers me about a lot of lip glosses. I hate when your lips kind of like stick together when you're wearing gloss. That's why I never wear lip glosses, but this is a very like silky formula, and I love the way that it feels on the lips. It does not feel sticky at all. It's very smooth, and this is very opaque. You can definitely wear it on its own. I love this, so I'm really excited to keep using this one. And then I think the last thing that I tried out is the Benefit setting spray. Hopefully I didn't forget anything when I was going through these, but I really like this a lot so far. It has a very finely misting spray nozzle, and it just makes your makeup look very like smooth. It's not like dewy or anything, but it kind of melts everything together, and I'm definitely going to keep using this, and I will keep you guys updated on everything. Of course, I'm going to film more ranking style videos. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys like those. I like to kind of keep you guys updated with how I'm liking products because sometimes my opinion does change on things. So yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Also, make sure you guys turn on your notifications. That way you don't miss out on any of my future videos. All you have to do is click the bell next to the subscribe button, and then you'll receive a notification every time I upload a new video. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.